I'm here with the newest head coach and the youngest head coach in the Western Hockey League. That is Spokane Chiefs, Adam Maglio. Adam, how's your summer been?
It's been good under some uncertain circumstances. I tried to keep a positive mindset, so it's been overall okay.
Well, I guess I should start by saying, and I should have off the top, congratulations on being named the head coach of the Spokane Chiefs. Truly a remarkable story so far. I mean, you're coming into your 7th year of coaching experience, but you started your hockey career in the KJHL, which is the Kootenay Junior Hockey League, a junior B league in the Kootenay region of British Columbia, with your hometown team, the Nelson Leafs, I believe, and then you moved on to Castlegar. And while you're playing in the KJ, you've mentioned that you had a coach there by the name of Aaron Wilbur, who was a big help for you and inspiration and somebody that you see as a mentor. So what did Aaron do and what did you learn from Aaron during your time with him?
Yeah, to be honest, the year I went and played for Aaron, I wasn't sure if I wanted to keep playing or pursue school. So he motivated me to stay in the game and continue playing. And then, you know what, we just stayed in touch through the playing career. He ended up coaching at UBC. I was looking to transfer for more so school purposes, and there was an opportunity to go play there with the Thunderbird team and under Aaron again. And he was integral in bringing me there. And again, just stayed in touch with him throughout after playing. And obviously, I think a mentor for sure. But I think someone that believed in me, and that was really important.
Well, you talked about your transfer there from a school to UBC. That school was Morris State College in upstate New York. What was that experience like, going to play Division III hockey in SUNY in New York State, coming from Nelson, where your hometown is? What was the adjustment like, and what's the hockey atmosphere like in upstate New York and Division III?
Yeah, it was a good experience overall. Smaller schools for sure. It was a little more intimate with, as far as you were with your team a lot through the week, not just at the rink. I had a really positive experience there. I had some close friends playing around the area at Colgate and Cornell, and so there was some Division I programs close by as well. But I felt just as far as my education coming back to UBC, the level of CIS obviously was intriguing to me too. But having Aaron there was certainly why I moved on after 2 years.
And you ended up spending 2 years at UBC as a player before joining the team as an assistant coach in 2014. And when did you really realize, or when did you come to the fruition that, I really enjoy coaching. I think this is something I'd be good at, and I want to give it a shot. And how did that opportunity come for you to get on the bench with the Thunderbirds?
Again, after Aaron Wilbur left as an assistant, I started to become more and more interested in the game, the technical side, the video side for sure. And I think he took note of that. After UBC, I was over in Asia for a couple of years. That's kind of where I really got into coaching, with running a hockey academy, startup academy over there. So I got my toes in the water there, really enjoyed it at the grassroots level. And I got a call from Tyler Kuntz just saying, hey, I'm looking for a guy to be an assistant, someone I trust, someone he felt was motivated, could communicate well with the players. And I jumped all over that opportunity, and that's kind of where it's kickstarted as far as the high performance coaching here.
And you've talked about in the past, in some interviews I've read, you said there was a big learning curve that you underwent transitioning from being a player to a coach. So what do you mean by the learning curve of coaching compared to playing?
I just think as a player, you maybe don't realize how much behind the scenes work there is. You show up for practice, you show up in the weight room, you work hard, you learn a lot from the coaches as far as, technically and through practice, but there's a lot of behind the scenes stuff that goes into it that I didn't know, to be quite honest. And you learn that really quick as a coach. But again, working under good people, I think fast tracks that learning curve, and having good mentors. And that's something I was fortunate to have.
Well, after UBC, you went on to the Prince George Spruce Kings of the BCHL, who have been a very good team over the past 10 years in the BCHL. You spent 2 years as an assistant coach before transitioning to your role as the head coach. When you got to Prince George, what were your expectations heading up there? And did you know that there was going to be an opportunity in a few years for you to move into that head coaching role?
I did and I didn't. I, again, worked under a guy that's Chad Van Diemen, still a close friend of mine today. He left for personal reasons after 2 years, which gave me that opportunity. But I wanted to get into junior hockey, Zach, so I felt like it was a good organization. They hadn't had a lot of success previously, so I felt that might be a good opportunity as a young guy to get in there. And year one was a little bit of a struggle, to be honest. Like our record wasn't great, but it teaches you a lot. Like going through that adversity, I think, as a coach or player, it can really help you later on. So I certainly used that experience. I think we started building the team a little bit in year two, and then I got that opportunity in year three as a head coach there.
And you took the opportunity and ran with it. Arguably the best or the greatest 2 years of head coaching in the BCHL's history. You won the mainland division with Prince George your first year, and then you won the BCHL championship, and we're one goal away from tying the game to go to overtime against the Brooks Bandits in the RBC National Championship. But my question for you is, what's the transition like going from an assistant coach to a head coach? What responsibilities do you have to come to? And for yourself, how do you change your approach to the game? Are you treating the players the same way you were as an assistant coach, or you change the way that you interact with them as the head coach?
Really good question, Zach. I'm fortunate because I've done this in PG, so now I do feel comfortable doing it, obviously, in Spokane now. But I feel there's a lot of management to being the head coach and delegating roles and responsibilities to both the staff and the players. That's one aspect that changes. You're not so much a support role now. You're more delegating stuff to your staff. So certainly that would be the biggest adjustment. I felt, communication so important to me. And as an assistant or a head coach, my belief is you really have to be a good communicator. Certainly Manny was that, and previous coaches that I've worked with. And I've tried to be that, and that's certainly something that I'm not going to change as a head coach.
Well, Manny said that you had this natural ability to connect with players. How do you think that you have that? Does it come from that communication, or is it something you've just always been able to do, whether it's through your playing days and now into your coaching days, connecting with not just teammates, but also these young players?
Yeah, I think communication and trying to know about them as people, like they are people first. I think that's kind of something I've always believed. But certainly working hard for them. Like, I think if you work hard for the player and you care and you really want to develop, you build that trust. And there's times where you have to have honest conversations with them. And as long as they're staying respectful and there's still good lines of communication, I believe that's where you certainly build that trust and rapport with your players.
Those hard conversations, I've been on the receiving end of them. I've never been on the talking end of them. When you had your first ever hard conversation, what was that like? And how did you prepare to go into that? Because I mean, it is a stressful situation to be a coach and have to tell a young kid who's pursuing a dream, hey, you've got to make some significant changes or this ain't going to work for you.
Yeah, absolutely. my first taste of that, Zach, was at UBC coaching, and I was not far out of playing there. So I had the privilege of actually coaching players I played with, and I had the task of, sitting one of those guys out that I had actually played with. And so there's a player-to-player relationship, and now a player-to-coach relationship. And it was your first, it was hard. I think it is hard, and it is mentally draining because you don't want to do that. But at the end of the day, you have to do what's right for the team. And I think, most players, they understand that, and you just need to continue those lines of communication and tell them why it's happening, and give them hope that, things are going to improve.
Touching on the communication and being honest with those players, what's your development philosophy? You've said in the past that development's the most important thing at the junior hockey level. In the BCHL, you're trying to get guys to university or potentially pro, but you said the Western Hockey League, we're really trying to get guys to the professional levels, whether that's the AHL, Europe, or the NHL. So what is your philosophy when it comes to developing junior hockey players?
Yeah, I think it's improving the daily habits of the player. So, whether that's on the ice and off the ice, working with them on both sides. Certainly, if you don't have good habits and you don't have good detail to your game, I think it's really hard to develop as a player, to be quite honest. So, trying to promote that and promoting that different ways too. So, it's not always watching their individual video. It can be teaching through NHL players or different other different leagues. But just finding ways to keep the player interested every day, but really focusing, always coming back to the habits and details of the game.
I love to hear that. As a player that's gone through the Western Hockey League, it's sometimes refreshing to hear a coach like yourself talk about those daily habits and enjoying coming to the rink every day. The same thing Manny said, actually, when I talked to him last week was, every day you come to the rink, we're there to work. We're there to be focused on trying to make it to the next level, but we need to have fun at the same time. It needs to be enjoyable because it is such a long season, 68 games from, for yourself, even as a coach. I mean, you start pre-scouting early August, and then you're going all the way potentially till the end of May, early June. It's a long season. It's a grind. There's a lot of bus trips, and it's nice to hear, a guy like yourself talk about enjoying the game and the habits. But my last question for you, you just had your first season in the Western Hockey League. You're no longer a rookie. You don't have to sit with somebody else on the bus anymore. Did you have a moment where it was like, welcome to the Western Hockey League?
Yeah, I think just walking into the Spokane arena. I'm from the Kootenays, from Nelson. As a little guy, I used to go watch games in Spokane with my dad, and it is a special arena. I mean, they've done a great job with putting history of the team around the rink. Right when I walked in there and walked in the coach's room, it brought back some memories when I was younger, walking in the rink and watching all the great players that have gone through that organization. So certainly that first day in that rink was a good welcoming into the WHL.
It's a beautiful rink, and it has the most annoying goal song in the history of sports. With that, Adam, again, thank you so much for taking time today. Congratulations on being named the head coach of the Spokane Chiefs, and all the best to you next season.
Thanks, Zach. Really appreciate it.